Ну вот и подходит к концу Гайдаровский форум 2021. И в конце такого мероприятия, когда отзвучали все официальные речи, всегда хочется просто поговорить. И наша последняя сессия именно такая. Мы просто поговорим. С кем? С кем? С теми, кого вы много раз видели по телевизору, вы читали о них в телеграм-каналах, возможно, в других новых медиа. Это победители конкурса «Лидеры России». Наш формат называется «Слово лидеру». Это что-то такое типа TED-Talk, но мы придумали его сами. Просто мы хотим рассказать о том, что важно и интересно этим людям, которые прошли многочисленные конкурсные процедуры, которые сейчас учатся по очень интересной программе и хотят что-то сделать для нашей страны. Кто они? Давайте знакомиться. Итак, наш первый спикер – это Наталья Горелова. Наталья – управляющий партнер ООО «Larsen», победитель конкурса «Лидеры России 2020». А еще она человек, которого очень волнует такой вопрос. Почему женщинам не место в мужском бизнесе? Наташ, вам слово.
Добрый вечер. За время своей карьеры в бизнесе я общалась с очень многими людьми и привыкла к тому, что часто отношение ко мне как к деловому партнеру может предопределять мой пол. Конечно, это отношение можно и получается изменить, но это требует усилий, а предубеждение существует как данность. Я владею и руковожу строительной компанией, а строительный бизнес в России — это очень мужской и очень консервативный мир. Разумеется, часто первые реакции при встрече со мной — удивление, недоумение, а то и сомнения в моем профессионализме. Сдержанные или не очень сдержанные ухмылки, неготовность обсуждать сложные технические вопросы. Невысказанная мысль, почему вместо директора прислали секретаршу в начале переговоров, высказанная мысль «надо же», впервые приходится пожимать руку женщине в конце. Почти на каждой встрече с новым контрагентом я чувствую, что вокруг меня выстраивается забор гендерного недоверия. Где-то высокий, где-то низкий, где-то прочный, а где-то не очень. Но он есть почти всегда. Первый раз, когда я этого не почувствовала, очень удивил меня и запомнился. В тот раз моими собеседниками были представители финской компании. По мере развития международных проектов я все чаще оказываюсь в ситуации, когда отношение ко мне не зависит от моего пола. В Европе это нормально, в России пока нет. Конечно, накапливается усталость. С другой стороны, необычные женщины в качестве делового партнера и руководитель строительного бизнеса может играть этой женщине на руку. Да, при переговорах ты потратишь много времени на доказательство того, что с тобой можно иметь дело, но зато и запомнишься надолго. В какой-то момент удивление, которое не проходит почти никогда, превращается из неприятного в приятное. Ты выделяешься, и это не всегда работает против тебя. Например, бывали случаи, когда из нескольких коммерческих предложений заказчики выбирали мое просто потому, что
yes,
было
the
интересно
result is
поработать
always
с
a
девушкой.
treat, but still there is this gender wall which exists here in Russia, and I am getting used to this, and people, my business partners, are also getting used to the fact that I'm a trustworthy partner, even being a woman in a construction business, and that I can be trusted and dealt with. If I could change the attitude to business women in such businesses as mine, I would be really happy. Unfortunately, the communication with European partners shows to me that gender stereotypes can be eradicated. You can solve the problem, because construction being purely men's business, it's not always there as it is. It's not always perceived this way. I don't want business to be associated with this or that gender in general, and I'm ready to invest my time and effort to try to change the attitude. I want the construction industry, the construction business, to not see any difference between men and women. It's not men's or women's business. It's just a business for everyone. And the problem is that there are many stories, there are many many careers that have been ruined due to this attitude to women. And we know that reproducing patterns of gender inequality is another tool in gender inequality boosting. And this means even aggravating the situation. So that's one of my goals, to lift this gender wall. Thank you. And now I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Taras Tokhtamyshev. He is a finalist of 2020 Leaders of Russia. He's director of Innovation Development Support Agency. So he also has something to tell you. Good evening. I'm very glad to welcome everyone. My name is Taras Tokhtamyshev. You are right. The most popular search answer in 2020 search online was why. When I was standing in my kitchen holding my one-year-old son, I saw my son started choking. His neck went blue. I saw the change in his face. I went from complete loss to thinking, why? Why? Because this shouldn't happen. My boy, he wasn't born just for nothing. He was born to live a long, beautiful, good life and maybe change this world. And I realized, being his father, that I had to struggle for my son. I performed the cardiopulmonary resuscitation again and again, till I felt the warmth of his breath on my face, and that was the happiest moment in my world, in my life. The world started choking and stopped breathing last year, the whole world. I didn't know what to do when it happened to my son. Now many people, many countries do not know what to do now. There are lots of opinions, but no one says, I know for sure we should do this or that. And even if you do not know for sure what you have to do, but if you know why you have to do it right here and right now, that's already a lot. We had a forum in our region, a focus group research in our region. We asked entrepreneurs on why they did what they did. And the answers were, I have to feed my family. I make bread and the whole community eats my bread. But now many entrepreneurs, they have no idea what to do. They continue performing cardiopulmonary resuscitation to their companies, to their enterprises, taking care of their personnel, of its well-being. You maybe do not know what exactly you are supposed to do to help, but you know why you are doing this. You know the cause you are fighting for, and that's already a lot. We asked the civil servants about this. They said now it is the time to create new opportunities and control order. The 90% of these public servants said they did what they did because we have to follow the new decree or the governmental resolution or whatever. I don't think that's the right approach. That's why I would like to call upon everyone to start thinking of why we are doing something. Thank you, Taras. And now I would like to give the floor to Lilia Kiryanova, Development Director, Tomsk Consortium of Scientific, Educational and Scientific Organizations from Tomsk, and she's also a winner of Leaders of Russia 2020 contest. And she's going to talk about catches in development of Russian regions. Good evening. Let's think back to the winter holidays. Just imagine winter, mountains, you are mountain skiing or snowboarding, looking around, it's so beautiful. You are having a vacation in a world-class winter resort. You are in Russia, but this is not Sochi. This is Chernigesh resort in Siberia. This is #2 most popular mountain skiing resort in Russia, which hosted more than 1.5 million people last year. And imagine if there wouldn't be the money coming from tourism. Why? Because Chernigesh is an ex-mining village, and it is an economic and management miracle. This is one of the best examples of showing how you can go beyond what you do in order to make a breakthrough. A few years ago, we generated a new trajectory of development of the city and of the ties that stimulate more and more to further develop the economy in the region. And the economy starts being very strongly tied to the territory, and it becomes more adaptive, the economy. And the track becomes so deep that you cannot get out of it, because you understand that the track leads nowhere or in the wrong direction. And we see this in several Russian cities. It's not only about the mono cities, it is also about the inefficient decisions that need to be changed in order to support the efficient, the most efficient industries and entities. Yes, you can do what? You can make an additional track, and you can organize stops on the way, but the new trajectory was built of the old industry, because the coal industry majors and those who work in the sector are still major funders of Tomsk. Tomsk was a student city for more than 100 years. It was being developed as a complex innovation center with all the possible business opportunities and trends. But to create new trajectories, you need to deviate from the existing ways and habits. In Tomsk, there is a big new university available. But what can you do? What should you do in order not to get caught in the catch in this development track? It is diversity that will help. Diversity of social institutes, diversity of institutions, diversity of different trajectories implementation. And I'm not sure that the weakness of strong regions will give way to economic plurality and changes. Thank you. And now I would like to give the floor to Alena Pliskina, Executive Director of Asset Management Department from Rosselkhozbank. She comes from Moscow, and Alena knows very well that the main point is to have equal opportunities. Good afternoon. Over the past 2 days at the Gaidar Forum, we shared a lot our outlooks of the future. And if we spoke about any critical issues, it wasn't mainly the inequality. In Russia, the numbers are also very high, even though we know that in advanced countries, in Western countries, the average per capita income is higher than in Russia. Socialism in our country was a very massive construction site, so to speak. But now You know, my teacher once said, if it is too difficult to solve a mathematical problem, probably there is no solution. But I still think that something is left, because the level of education in a country matters a lot. I was lucky enough to enjoy special attention of our mathematics teacher. She taught me to find the cause and the consequence, to see what stands for what. And the physics teacher, he explained to us the Canada inertia laws, which I know very well. I mean that our teachers, they taught us, they conveyed to us all the most valuable advices. I, as a medalist, was able to get inscribed to a free of charge things, and can the population enjoy something of the kind being delivered? But till we have such opportunities, but we see there is no distinction between common secondary schools and other schools. I think that Russia needs it all very much. And I think that it's important to develop a special social culture. And of course, there is a pragmatic aspect, and healthy competition is one of the pillars of further growth. Plus, honestly, and we do not respect those who made their money or fortune in a bad way. We are able to laugh at our own mistakes, and those who were trying to we were trying, and we can really move away the borders of the impossible so that it becomes possible. Thank you. Thank you, Alena. And now I would like to give the floor to Konstantin Agafonov, finalist of Leaders of Russia 2020 contest. He's managing partner of Mimir Engineering. And he thinks as well that Russia does have opportunities in the fifth technological revolution. You know, in each technological set, actually the leaders were discussing who will be the leader in the new age. I think that Russia has every chance to become the leader in the new year. And why? If we look at all the previous civilizations, look, you have a smartphone which actually replaces a lot of various household and electronic appliances which you can have all in a smartphone. Number two, the specific consumption of energy by a citizen is declining, which is logical, and creation of universal machines that will be able to build a house or, for instance, wash the dishes, that would be a dream, right? Unfortunately, currently, and for the coming 20 years approximately, we will not be able to make a robot walk. The best manipulator a car can have is the analog of a human hand. to create such a platform with human hands, it's not very dangerous and difficult. It will cost not more than 500,000 rubles. And what's interesting, we see that the universal machine in Russia is based on the key problem, delivery of goods. And deliveries from the Far East are sometimes even higher than the whole construction budget. And of course, the budget will be operating in high energy, and Russia is the leader in terms of the quantity of energy resources per one citizen. And once again, I will tackle the social aspect and say that we will be able to manipulate these robots, either connecting the device to the special, either using a special algorithm, and if you can work like this, if you can comfortably work this way, this will make it possible for you to stay with your family, and at the same time will give you a lot of other opportunities. Thank you. Thank you. And now it's time for me to give the floor to Viktoriya Petrova. She is a finalist of 2020 leaders. She comes from Akhtubinsk of Kurgan Oblast, and she is deputy mayor. And I can say that the good bosses, they never see any personnel leave. Viktoriya, I have a friend. Her name is Alena. We know each other for 10 years since institute. When at institute, she learned herself to perform the to do the nails. She learned it herself, but of course, when she graduated from the institute, she changed her occupation from making nails to other things, and stability and income was increasing. The work was uninteresting, and there was still lots of work and little time for it. So this could be used as a supplementary mechanism that could help her in life, but interest prevailed in this case, and very soon Alena started. Alena did not want to go away from a high-status job. And what about the salary? What about this pension? The boss, the lady boss, decided to leave. Alena found an expert who is her friend who worked in a kindergarten. And another question was, where were they going to spend the money they will make? And it was an interesting situation. The friend was offered a vacancy you need to fill the vacancy, and at the same time you understand that she is going to work for a long time till she retires. And just think, she spent 5 years at the institute to receive a higher education and stability. But the problem is that now she has no more motivation. she would have quit sooner or later, you would say. Another history, another story. John Kennedy was visiting South Korea, and once he saw an interesting cleaner who was doing his job passionately, paying no attention to everyone. The president asked the cleaner, "What are you doing here?" "I'm launching a rocket in the outer space." And he said he loves his work. Please do so that everyone who loves this, let them launch their rockets, their missiles into the outer space. If you do not like something, explain why this cannot be done. And then nobody is going to take away your friends and colleagues. And now let me give the floor to Valentin Shaposhnikov, also another winner of 2020, leaders of Russia and the world.
И он точно знает, что главное качество лидера — готовность к изменениям.
And the speaker definitely knows that the key quality of a leader is being ready for a change. Good evening. Modern leaders value very much readiness to change. And we see the polling results. There are lots of innovators among us. Today, I would like to talk about the changes in the higher education. Just remember for a second, for instance, Lev Alexandrovich, he's 65, he's professor of physics, and he's loved by students and colleagues. But then the 2020 started, and both they have an electronic timetable with online lectures and online workshops and also laboratory works. Because in the past, we see that he had the key tools for the educational process. Lev Alexandrovich, he has done his best to develop a large number of presentations, but at the same time, like in the old times, asking, you know what? Unfortunately, in young heads there was no place for physics, and our young hero is not the only one. Unfortunately, it really happens. And it's impossible during 1 month or 1 week to change the format of a new community. And today, we see a certain result in terms of remote learning, and we think that when the pandemic is over, we'll be able to turn on our computers, and no, it will not be just another time of the problem. We discussed contradictions, we discussed differences between the educational institutes and the state, the government. And on the contrary, today, for instance, platform-based solutions are being implemented. And I really managed to prepare a resource for the pandemic time, which I never had before. Yet we have to deal with what we have. We have to rethink our approach to online lectures, because this will give you a better opportunity to choose the educational trajectory. And please remember that sometime later,
Валентин, спасибо большое.
these
Прямо
solutions
сейчас я
should also be
передаю
revised.
слово Елене Гавриловой. Елена из Санкт-Петербурга — это победитель конкурса «Лидеры России 2020».
Elena Gavrilova is from St. Petersburg. Elena is internal business manager from LENTA. Retailer Elena, when are you going to start learning? Good evening, distinguished audience. I would like to congratulate you with the anniversary of the Gaidar Forum. And let me say the following. In the past 2 days in Gaidar Forum, we discussed a lot educational aspects. Let me talk about your education. Let me start my story by the personal story of Van de Schuyn. He was born in China, he had to quit school and he had to work as a tram conductor and worker to feed his family, but then later he learned actor's art from the age of 33 to 40, and because of his health he became not just a drama actor but an actor in pantomime. When he was 59, he started coming onto the stage as a live sculptor. Then, 10 years later, he was shot in movies. And it continues. He's doing something new all the time. You think it is a unique destiny? No, not really. We know that about 25% of adult population will lose their jobs in Russia, even more in Africa. Plus, robots are coming. There is no stability, and there will be no stability. What should we do? You should receive knowledge every day, because knowledge gaining was usually done from 15 to 30 years. But there is no profession which you can work in for the rest of your life. And we see how many people learn in other countries and in Russia. In Russia, there are much fewer. These are the experts who do not teach any children. And they perfectly well understand that the education you have is always a big benefit in whatever you do. In Leningrad Oblast, I was able to assess the key strengths and key failures. I didn't know I continue education here at the Russian Academy of National Economy and public service. At the same time, I developed social projects in the framework of the Leaders of Russia contest. By the way, in 2018, the students of the second year of university student was also among the nominees. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Kantemir Hurtayev. He's a finalist of Leaders of Russia 2020 contest. He represents the Union of Young People. And the question is, what exactly qualities should a healthcare worker have? And to answer the question, we have to talk about this. Dear colleagues, I'm going to talk about the fifth quality of a leader. I was always interested in this notion. What is a leader? Leaders are always successful. Everyone wants to be a success. Even those who are saying they do not want a success, they are lying. That's wrong. So to answer this question, how can one become a leader? I studied biographies of the celebrities, of famous guys like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Herman Gref, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and others. And you know what's interesting? There are 4 universal rules. And I decided for myself that if I follow the rules, I will have a success. And let me share with you these 4 rules. Rule number 1, the leader must have a dream. If you do not have a dream, you haven't started going towards it. Number 2, you have to be consistent in following your dream. And in order to swiftly get adapted to the changing world, the person should be agile enough to think in a non-orthodox way. And I also agree that now with this dark swan of coronavirus, I started thinking whether these qualities were sufficient for a leader to be a strong one. I probably think not. And the leader very much needs a special standpoint, and you aren't worth anything if you cannot give a helping hand to someone who needs it in time of need. We are together is a very unprecedented action in which persons being in a severe economic situation, and they got help, and more than 2 billion rubles were donated for that. And by the way, many of those who participated, they got orders from the President of Russian Federation. And this is the kind of leaders we will have in 2020. And this thesis is backed up, and therefore we do not understand why some companies become successful, for instance. And I know a guy who tried to study this topic, and you know what he saw? A very interesting relationship. The companies that became the top companies, they had 2 very peculiar leaders who behaved showing that they had a very strong empathy on what you were saying, which means that this wasn't for themselves, that was for the company, for the society. And this is how a person can become a leader. And I have decided that there are 5 qualities of a leader. You have to have a dream, you have to learn everything all the time, and you have to have empathy, and so on. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Thank you. Today we work in the venue where we started at 10 until 8 in the evening. We discussed digitization and other aspects, and I would like to speak about them with Timur Berda, General Director of Uniterra Labs. He's going to talk about labor productivity and labor safety enhancement in modern times. Thank you, Larissa. Dear friends, I'm very glad to welcome all of you. And in Russian mass media, The Gaidar Forum is considered since many years as the Russian Davos meeting, and it discusses the business environment and the latest trends in the world, and digitalization or digitization is what I would like to talk about. Just imagine oilmen, mechanic engineers, and many other specialties having a very difficult job, a very unsafe job. Can digitalization help making their labor safer and more productive? And I would like to share with you my experience in this respect. And I would like to tell you how digitalization penetrates even the most conservative processes, and how companies can break stereotypes and overcome barriers, legislative barriers. Let's talk about people who work in high-hazard conditions on a daily basis, while the result of their work, their efficiency is what shapes the success of many most important strategic industries in the country. We started working on digital transformation of labor some 10 years ago or more, when there was no idea even about doing so worldwide. We wanted to maximize the costs and increase the efficiency of the enterprise. But then I became a witness of a major labor accident with several casualties, and this made me rethink my attitude to this problem. And when you realize that on what you do and how safely you do it, the lives of many people depend. If you realize that you can give much more to these people, to the companies, it really helps a lot to find a solution. Russia joined the concept of zero trauma rate not long ago, and to enhance the labor efficiency, we developed the following complex. It includes a digital platform and digital components every worker has, and the dispatcher is can communicate with every worker wherever the worker works, communicate with the workplace, and the system can identify the optimum work team which can be recommended for this or that job. All documentation is generated electronically, and the workers, they perform their job, but they are doing that safely for themselves and for other people. And let's talk about the function of the government in this process. Since we work in industries with high share of state ownership, we understand that in such industries we need to act jointly with the employers. We have to be proactive in order to survive. We are members of several expert boards. We talk about this issue at different workshops. 10 years ago, we saw something promising in working on this topic. And we see now the fruit of our decisions. And first of all, this is due to the fact that we are proactive. If we see a problem, we do not have to sit and wait till the problem will probably dissolve. It will not. You have to be proactive. You have to settle the problem by your own hands, thus saving lives, helping people. And first I thought that the main idea in this would be to make money. But making money is not and should not be the only sense in doing something which can help save lives and enhance productivity. And I would like to call upon all innovators to innovate. remembering what I said. Thank you so much. And now I'm giving the floor to Leonid Italiantsev, the little family office partner. Good evening, dear colleagues. My name is Leonid Italiantsev. There were many presentations ruminating about future. What I would like to suggest to you is to remember about the right to life. Let's close our eyes and remember our childhood. We walked around in the fields, we went to the river for bathing, we made fires, we played. Remember the river, the water splashes, and this special wind, fresh wind. You felt this liberty, this freedom. I live in a large city where neighbors do not really know neighbors. People in a major city spend their lives working. People living in suburban areas, they spend most of their lives getting to and back home from work. So how can we get back this freedom? Let us change the lifestyle of a small city, even in the framework of one single city, but now in the framework of national projects. Why not try doing so? Just imagine, you have quick access to the maps of interesting places where you can go. You can do good things with people who are ready to support you. You have a consulting service, a consultant service, which you can consult if you want to move to another part of the country, a service which would help you to solve some social issues. Never before has the state invested in development of villages as now. Till 2025, investment in Russian villages will be more than 2 trillion rubles. And we, city people, citizens of large cities, we just have to learn more about the existing opportunities, about opportunities to buy a cottage house or take a mortgage or other things. Yes, now, with COVID, we have a chance to work remotely. Just dream, close your eyes. You move to a village. You will be able to see your children happily playing with you. You will be able to eat green products, clean products. You have seen a lot. You have reached a lot. Your passion brought you to where you are now. And only you are the person on whom the future of your kids depends. Change, transform the space around you. Invite your friends to join you. Take advantage of this opportunity, and let's give an opportunity to the villagers to change, transform their life. Let's attract investments to build infrastructure for everything to be the way you like, but not in a city, but in pure nature. Let's make it a package service. We know how convenient it is. Let's change the very notion of cottage house. It's not just a shabby house somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Let's simplify moving to villages. Let's make it convenient. Let's make it attractive. Thank you. Leonid Italiantsev calls upon us to move to villages, to rural area, while Nikita Khilimonchik is from Orenburg region. He is also a winner of Leaders of Russia 2020 contest. Good evening, everyone. I seem to be the last speaker today. It is a privilege, and I would like to show to you some very beautiful pictures and live the story with me, and at the same time remember the most important findings I made. Every one of us wants to climb our own Everest. We want to be better. We want to do better. And in August 2020, I was lucky to be part of the group which ascended Elbrus mountain. 18 people in the team, that's how many of us went there. 10 kg was the weight of all our things we had in our backpacks. 642 meters is the height, the actual height of Elbrus. So 6 hours was the way to the summit. The summit was at the 4,000 meters height. We had 2 groups with 2 tractors. The temperature was -10. We had frost wind. When did it happen? The first problem, when the temperature dropped to -20. We started having cold. We didn't see the following group. We waited for them for 10-15 minutes. We don't see anyone. And the first idea that comes to your mind, why did I come here? Damn, I could be watching TV now, enjoying popcorn or whatever. 15 minutes passed and the second group came. Following us, it turned out that due to the hot sun, the snow melted, and that actually decelerated their ascent. 4 hours are left to the summit. I started thinking that the morning will never come. But then I see that the snow is bluish. And when you see a new day in, surrounded by snowy mountains, you have to continue going. You have to continue your way. 1 hour to the summit. Just imagine what we had to go through when you go one by one. You go up there and you don't have enough oxygen to breathe. You have a terrible headache. You are exhausted, but you look forward, everyone continues their way. You look back, there are people behind you who continue their way, inspiring you to continue. The group splits into those who want to have a cup of tea, take a breath, sit down for a while, and those who are saying, no, we have to continue. And you know, at that moment, you realize who you are and the way you are, and your social status doesn't matter there. Doesn't matter how much money you have earned in your life. A mountain summit is a very good trial for you to try yourself and try your team, to see who you can go in, go hiking or go into a summit ascent, who you can trust your life. And you see someone produces a flag, someone writes messages to their relatives. Everyone understands that if we had tried to climb the summit alone, all by ourselves, we wouldn't be there. Only being a team, we could make it. We are in the 21st century. It's high time to understand this key message. Only being a team, you can climb the summit. And everyone realized that he was there on top of the summit only thanks to the fact that Oleg was behind me going there. Someone was in front of me also saying, no, it's okay, let's continue. And only this way we could do it. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you so much. And that was the team of leaders of Russia. It's up to you now to rethink what you just heard and maybe make your own conclusions. And you will be able to hear that on YouTube channel as well. I would like to thank you for attention. Guys, I really loved what you said. I loved being with you tonight. Thank you. Thank you.